All right, it says I'm live, but I'm going to wait till someone out there tells me. Someone's got to tell me I'm live, otherwise I don't believe it. I need you guys to come in here, push on in. Everybody come on, push in, get into the room. We're going to have a conversation. So you guys just kind of tell me whether the audio is working, whether the video is working. We got our light going. See how the shadow? Temporarily. Don't know if it's going to make it through the whole show. Got our laptop being charged, but it's at, let me look, 27%. Don't know if it's going to make it through the whole show. Got our battery pack, which is running the internet. So, Lord willing, that is going to last through the show. We'll see how we do. Every single show is an adventure. We never know whether we're going to make it, whether our power is going to be disappearing, whether the lights are going to go off. Never know. All right. It says no sound. And yet, Daniel says the sound is okay. Yeah, I think you need to refresh. Looks like we have it. Hello. Hello, Scott. Hello, Chuck. Hello, Billy. Hello, Daniel. You guys come in here, type in where you are. Let me know. Hit the like button. But come in and say hi. We're going to talk about some stuff, but we're going to get some things out of the way first. And one of those is to make sure we got sound, make sure we got video, because I don't want to do this for a couple of minutes and not be on the air. We're broadcasting on 3 Facebook channels. We're broadcasting on YouTube. We're broadcasting on Periscope, which is Twitter, and we're broadcasting on Twitch. Macon George is in the house. I know we got some South Texas in the house. Kim is here from Pennsylvania. I think that Daniel's in Michigan. So you guys come on in, type in where you are. We're going to talk. We're going to chat. We're going to do things. We got to do the box thing, get that thing going. The box thing has to happen. I don't know why. They just say. That just tells you it's an official show. They have all this advice, and I break all of it. I do have a light this time that's probably too bright and is washing out my face. My hair is a tragedy. And I got this swelling right here from allergies. The like button has been lovingly caressed. Hallelujah. Glad to see it. All right, so I'm here. We had a beautiful day. It is 88 or so degrees, maybe down to 81 right now. Woke up in fall, which was, 50 degrees. Got up to 88. Tomorrow, supposed to be 50s and 60s, and then freezing sometime over the next 24 to 48 hours after that. So we've been on a roller coaster. We get fall in the morning, summer during the day, winter the next day. Welcome to Texas. Montana's here. Audio and video look great. All right. Nancy's here from Bucksport, Maine. Well, you guys, everybody else, push in. By the way, I know a lot of you are lurkers. I love lurkers. If you are a lurker, just come in and say hi. We're going to have a conversation. My advice to everyone is type in your questions right now. Hey, good to see you, Richard, from over in the hub city of Lubbock, Texas. So just type in your questions right now. I've got stuff I'm going to talk about, but then if I run out of things to talk about, I will get over to your questions. Or if your question is better than what I want to talk about, we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. That's what I like to do here. I like to be of service. I'm trying to serve you. I have a stout beer, which I brewed in May of this year by myself, bottled it, and it's still in the root cellar. Got a bunch of it left. Haven't drank it all. But since we had a good day today, I'm pouring. I've still got a little bit left in the bottle. No, wrong bottle. Here we go. Now that makes it look like I got 4 or 5 empty bottles from today. Those are from the other night, the other show. All right. Let me pour myself a little bit more stout. We're going to talk about false memories, and we're going to talk about propaganda and how it works and stuff that's going on. And we're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about. What kind of things did you used to do for cold weather preps? Cold weather preps and cold weather survival, although they intersect, are not the same thing. Cold weather preps out here involved a lot of making sure that the right things are down in the root cellar so that they don't freeze. that we don't have things in the barn or in the house, because since we don't have central heat, if we're going to be gone for a day and we're not working the wood burner or have the propane heater going, we have to make sure that it doesn't get so cold that stuff freezes. Now, the good thing about living in Central Texas is it generally does not get that cold inside, even if it's below freezing outside. On average, and no year is average, we get about 13 to 25 days over 100 during the summer, and 13 to 25 days that break below freezing in the winter. All of the rest of the time, it's pretty wonderful. And so we get about 8 to 9 months of nearly perfect weather. Today was one of those days, just absolutely fantastic weather. As far as cold weather preps, though, if you're talking about out here on the farm, we have to plan ahead for things like butchering, because we butcher anytime we would know we were going to get 3 to 7 days of cold weather meaning mid 40s and below, where it was not going to break above that for 3 to 7 days or longer. We would always butcher a hog, butcher a cow. That way you can butcher it, get it dressed out, and hang it and let it age. And then it would be cooler in the smokehouse if we were going to smoke the meat. And it gave us enough time to, if we were going to be canning or if we were going to be drying it or whatever we were going to be doing. So we would have to plan ahead. A lot of times we didn't get to plan ahead. Sometimes when it was cold, we would just get a call from somebody or a message from somebody that they had a pig in a trap, or they had just killed some pigs in their feeder. And so one time we got 9 pigs at one time like that. And at one year, we butchered 32 pigs in just a month or so. So the thing is just to be prepared. As far as cold weather survival, which I've done, the best thing you can have is knowledge. You have to come on one of my cold weather survival trips. We'll have to put one together. Frank says he just got through moving firewood from the wood pile to the porch. You're going to need it, brother. Looks like we're getting down to freezing on one of those days. And then it's supposed to get warm again, I think. I don't know that for sure, but that's what happens here. We get winter in fronts. It can be 70, 80. We've been 90 degrees in January before, and we may have 70s for a day or two in a row. And then a cold front comes through. It's just a front moving through, and we do our cold weather business, and then it passes through and it warms back up. Hello, Dolly. You probably get tired of that, but it's a good joke. All right, y'all. So false memories. Some of you may have little bits of understanding or knowledge about this here and there. I've seen shows about it on cable TV and documentaries, etc. The phenomenon of false memories can basically be boiled down to this. Most of what you remember is not true, and most of what you remember that is true is not true in exactly the way that you remember it. We as human beings create memories all the time. We also adjust memories. We adopt memories. We take memories from other people and things that never happened. And we also absorb and massage memories. That's just a human nature. And it's been documented quite extensively. People who are good at it can also manufacture memories in other people, because a lot of people are highly suggestible. And it's easier to suggest a memory to somebody if they are it's already something that they want to be true. Hello, Sandy. Hello, Richard. Hello, everybody. Yes, we have wild turkeys. And we have killed a few on the property before, but generally we don't see them in time to be able to, we don't actually go hunting. All right, Ethan, don't worry about it. You don't ever have to announce when you're leaving. All it does is make me sad. It affects the show and the quality of the show. All right, so manufactured memories. There are people who are good at it, who are able to manufacture memories. And as the American public in particular, we'll call them moderns, have become more and more acculturated to the understanding that victimhood is of great value, that it accrues with it political power, social power, emotional power. People will bend to your will if you're a victim, or if you can claim victimhood. That has increased the ability both of the person to be susceptible to false memories and to altered memories. And it also has increased the ability of purposeful propagandists using that reality to affect memory. How does this work? Well, there are many cases where they've run tests and they've done studies where people have seen a crime or were eyewitnesses to a crime, and they've had people planted in the audience or planted as other witnesses who have then themselves planted information in the minds of other people merely by saying, well, I saw this, finding the impressionable people in the group. And when enough people, maybe 2 or 3, claim to have seen the same thing, more people, because of this authority bias, a reliance on what they consider to be an authority, will then adopt that and really honestly believe that they saw the same thing and report it. That's what they saw. Hello, Hava. And so this is the way that memories can be created. People are susceptible to that. You yourself have created memories. You have memories of things in your past that are not particularly true. One of the things I told my children when they were growing up, when we had what we'd call a perfect evening or a perfect day. Have you ever, I'm going to call on your memory right now. Have you ever been outside around the time right before sundown at the dusk, where the temperature is perfect, the weather is perfect, everything is perfect? You're sitting there and you just are relishing the fact that you're alive and that this is this perfect evening. That time period I have used in almost all of my books, and I've also used it as the title of a short story anthology called Time in the Gloaming. The gloaming is this electric blue period right now outside of my doors, right before full dusk, where it seems to be vibrant and it seems like the temperature is perfect and it's not cold and it's not hot and everything is just right with the world. If you ever experience that, I would tell my children that this is something to remember. It's something to grasp. People don't remember things unless there's something memorable about it. And sometimes you have to tell people to remember things. And so when you've heard people say, these are the salad days, this is basically the way of recalling or creating a box around an experience so that you remember it. In some movies, somebody will go with a fake camera or something like that, just basically instigating in their mind the idea that this is something that needs to be remembered. And so I would tell my children, this moment is what you will remember. Many of the bad things you won't remember. The days that we sat out that were fun, that were great, but we were getting bitten by bugs, or it was a little bit of a cool breeze, a little too cold, and you had to go put a jacket on, or it was a little too hot and you were a little sweaty, or you could hear the neighbors arguing, or something was going on that didn't make it perfect. You generally don't remember those things. If you think back now, I know that it's 2020, and almost all of you have been told that your life has been horrible, that you've had the most horrible life, that you were, every single one of you, absolutely the urchins from a Dickens novel. But in reality, compared to the history of the world, you've had it pretty good. And so I'm just saying, the way that the memory works is that we tend to remember things that were pleasant and things that were good, and we tend to not remember things that were bad. Secondarily to that, when things are bad or when things are not perfect, we are susceptible to having those memories changed. And so perhaps you had a parent that was abusive. Perhaps you had a spouse or somebody else that was abusive. And those things are bad, and I would never deny anybody else's experience. But what can happen is that suggestion, especially when there's a political, a social, or emotional benefit that accrues to the person for being an expanded victim, those things can cause those memories, which generally we would, as humans, we would discount or we would push down or we would get rid of, to become amplified and to be changed and to become something they are not. So if you had a fairly average day, perhaps with your parent or your spouse or whoever, later on in life, that relationship goes sour. Perhaps you get a divorce. Perhaps you have get crossways with your parents. You are very susceptible to taking an average everyday life that happens to everybody and having that memory changed for you or changed by somebody else. This is also true of the body politic. For dozens of decades, Americans generally were like humans generally at the time, before social media, before propaganda, advertising, marketing became so ubiquitous. America was like an average person in that America had bad things happen. America did bad things, but they tended to gloss over those things or to put those things away and try to get better. They tried to improve. Laws were changed, laws were passed, new things came about, and the body politic memory, the social memory, was generally of things like victories, things like freedom, things like marches and parades and 4th of July holidays, right? We were encouraged to remember and to think on good things. The scripture itself says that you should be mindful of these good things. We're not supposed to harbor the bad things and live in the bad things and trade on the bad things and benefit from the bad things. We're supposed to think on the good things. So America as a whole, prior to the advent of ubiquitous advertising, marketing, propaganda, Bernays, and all those other guys, was optimistic. None of their history was true. There were true things that happened, but none of them happened in the way that the body politic memory believed it. There has always been reality, and reality of a car wreck is not the same 10 minutes after it happened. The memory of it. Things are recalled that never did happen. Things are recalled that were suggested to us. And yet we found it to be a great benefit as a people to focus on the things that were good and that were continuing to happen and that were improving and that were getting better and better. At some point, there was a tipping point. The advent of the Industrial Revolution, the advent of mass advertising, the removal of people from the land, the removal of their ties to a piece of sky, so that they were no longer grounded and landed, but they were groundless and landless and orphans and bastards in their own country. That was the exact same time they started selling those people toothpaste. They started telling people they needed deodorant. Things people had never thought about in the history of the world, they now absolutely needed and had to have. I recommend to you a book called Henry and the Great Society. This is what happened. Henry remembered standing on a hill at Whispering Pines, and it was the beautiful days, the salad days. Everything he did was with horses, as far as travel and farming. He had this beautiful life. His family was at home. They were at peace. They would take their milk, load it in a wagon, take it to town, trade their eggs and all those kind of things. This is the beginning of the book. As you can imagine, things go bad from there. The society tells them you need to have a road because this road is not safe. You need to have a car because you can't ride your horses on that road now that there's cars on it. So you need to get rid of the horses, get a car, and the thing rolls downhill. And here's the thing. That is the same thing that happened with memories. Once it became possible to sell people things they don't want, it became necessary to convince people of problems, of fears, of troubles, of pain, of suffering, of servanthood, of all these things that had never happened to them. And they really believe it. So in the example I gave earlier, when there was a robbery that happened right in front of a woman, it was a put on, it was faked. And someone came over to her and he said, the guy who did it was wearing a red shirt. I saw him. And somebody else came over and said, I'm pretty sure it was a red shirt. And the guy who actually did it had a blue shirt on. But when enough authority asserted itself, her mind changed. She's not lying. She's not faking it. She actually changed the memory. The same thing happened to America. Somebody came along and said, everything was bad. You're an abuser. You're a thief. You're a murderer. You're a rapist. You're all of these things. And that's what happened. And America resisted. And then the next witness came by and said it. And the next witness came by and said it. Or they said you need toothpaste, or you need deodorant, or you got to have a car, or you got to have a washing machine, or you got to have the new Keurig, or you got to have this or that. And eventually, America said, you know, maybe they're right. False memories. This all came to my mind. Now, I mean, I've talked about these things for years, and you guys know me. But I watch a lot of YouTube. We're here on YouTube right now, live. That's some paint. This shirt was given to me by my friend Chris Awal. So I was watching the YouTube, and I guess the Biden campaign had bought all the commercials. And they were running the same commercial on every video. This goes beyond creating memories. It's creating memories of things that never happened. It starts off with this soft music, and it showed all these great events that happen in someone's life, going to your child's wedding, going to your child's birthday, baseball game, a football game, a day out at the park, the 4th of July, running with a sparkler. And then it said all these things didn't happen because of Trump. They didn't happen because Trump basically, I don't know, pulled COVID out of his ass and created it, handled it so poorly that everybody died. So not only are they creating a history that is not what we all lived through, but they also are suggesting a history that didn't happen that was supposed to happen. An alternative history. They did. They said you were going to get married, but you didn't. 2019 wasn't that great. And I'm watching this Biden commercial. I was like, damn, 2020 was going to be great. I was going to have, dance with my daughter, and I was going to run around with a sparkler. I was going to get all this stuff. And it was all going to be great. There was going to be the perfect music play. But none of that happened because that damn Trump. He ruined it all and he killed everybody. This is exactly how false memories work. They not only created a reality where somehow some guy in Washington, D.C. could have stopped the virus from coming here and then could have made it not as bad somehow. Apparently by being dictatorial, which they didn't want. Apparently in January, I'm not supporting Trump. I'm going to get into that in a minute. Get to you idiots out there who are so freaking stupid that I can't say something true about either campaign without half of America either sending me a MAGA hat or asking me how long I've been a comrade of Mao. So the reality is they've got this whole world. Well, somehow, I guess, at a time when they were trying to impeach him and and they wouldn't let him do anything. They were even trying to stop him from building the wall. Somehow, I guess he was going to, by mandate, shut down America from the rest of the world and stop this COVID. And then once it got here, he could have immediately shut down all the businesses and killed the economy. And they would have just been cool with it. By the way, if Trump had ever made a good decision, ever, they would have been cool with it. They would have gone, yeah, they would have. Come on. They would have gone right along with it. They're no different than the Republicans. That's the way politics works. But the point is that there's a fake history, and then they actually faked all of 2020 of what there's like an alternative universe where all this shit was supposed to happen that didn't happen because of Trump. Now, here's the overall point. In your life, there have been great things that have happened. There have been beautiful days. There have been great relationships. There have been awesome friendships. There have been those evenings in the gloaming where you've stood there in the electric blue and you've been able to smell perhaps a fair popcorn or something, barbecue on the wind. Beautiful day. I hope I'm not the only one who's, and I know I talk about the gloaming in every book of mine. And I actually named a book about that because it's an important time to me. But am I the only one that has experienced that before? I remember as a small child, 5 or 6 years old, standing outside when that perfect temperature would hit, the electric blue, the sun's gone down, but the sky is still blue. And if you live near a city, and I don't like cities, but if you did, when all the lights are coming on, you can still see it's still that electric blue time, but the lights are coming on. And it's just like the most perfect moment. I remember at 5 or 6 years old going, this is perfect. I couldn't stand it. And that's never left me. Sometimes I walk here from the office and I walk up to the house and it's that time of the evening and I'm just like, man, this is the best life in the world. You have those things. And you have bad things that have happened to you too. Moderns, I won't say Americans, moderns have learned that the bad is what they are. If somebody said something mean to them, that's what they are. If somebody said something offensive to them, their job is to take offense and to be offended until everybody in the world bows down on the ground to them. If something bad happened, and it could be really bad, their job is to trade on that for the rest of their life. If something bad happened to their ancestors, your job is to get paid every day for the rest of your life and to live on that. Not ever even mention. Don't ever be in an interview where you don't talk about your victimhood and your victim status. That is not what America used to be. Black, white, brown, Asian, whatever. It didn't used to be that way. We had stories they read to us in school, the Horatio Alger stories of people who lifted themselves up from poverty. People who had been through horrible things and had turned their life around. And now they were living, and they were living for that electric blue of the gloaming, the salad days. They were able to establish in their minds the benefits and the positives of life. That this is a day that the Lord has made and we should rejoice and be glad in it. Everything wasn't political because every memory didn't have a price tag hanging on it. Once they monetize your memories, you're finished because you're going to live every day of the rest of your life as a slave to whatever the powers that be decide your use is. And that's where we are. So I'm here for you. If you got a question or comment or something you want to talk about, I'll be glad to talk about it. I'm going to scroll up here. If I can get my mouse to work. Hit the thumbs up is right, Hava. Henry and the Great Society. Everybody go read it. I will, after this show is over, I'll go down and put a link to Henry and the Great Society down in the description on YouTube. I want to ask everybody, I do this on every show, but like 3 people do it. When this show is over, will you go to YouTube for me? Will you find this video and like it and share it and subscribe? Please. You don't have to, but if you want to. 2020 is good because we spend every day together and nobody we know expired from the Rona. We had one that we know died of COVID just this past week. Not close friend, nobody we've even talked to in 20 years or so, but somebody that we knew. And when we very first were having children and were going to church, that died from it. And it's real. And it still can be just like any other event in history, the Great Fire, the earthquake, all of these things, they can be a point in history that we move on from, and that we have great memories of times with our friends and all of those things. All right, I'm looking up here. Something about Bobby Knight, 80 years old today. I did see that. You want me to write a story where the ghost of Mike Leach and Bobby Knight haunt the campus of Texas Tech? That's not fiction. They don't have to die. They're already doing that. All right. So I think Richard wanted to make this comment section about what he wants to talk about, which is what we're here for, Richard. We want to talk about what you want to talk about. I've had much worse times than 2020, War Dogheim says. When I was deployed overseas and when I was a kid, the folks going through divorce. The worst part of 2020 has been the separation from family. Absolutely. That's true. Do we remember bad experiences more traumatic or less traumatic? We generally will, if left to our nature, those people who are benevolent beings, which means they don't have a heart of evil, they're not Poneros evil, will generally mitigate bad memories, traumatic experiences, all those things as time passes. In other words, those things don't define them. They're bad and they happened and they have repercussions. The people who take those things and make them who they are, who trade on them and use them as emotional warfare against everyone else. The people, when you say something or you tell a joke and they have to get real serious and ruin everybody else's day and evening because something happened to them when they were 13. That's sad that it happened. But they have decided that they're going to go through life and they are going to snap the rest of society into some kind of lockstep into whatever they think because of something that happened to them. However traumatic something is, it is not as traumatic as what has happened to other people in the world, even in our own age. All you have to do is go and study, as I did in great depth so I could write a book about it, the Cambodian genocide. Just looked at what happened to some of those people. When they take your baby from you and cut its throat with the ragged edge of a succulent plant that has a knife on the edge, and while it's still alive and gaggling on its own blood, they throw it into a pit and cover it up with lime and it's still alive. And then they rape you and throw you in the pit and then or bludgeon you near to death and throw you in the pit. While you're still alive, they cover you with lime and then they start on the next woman and child. That's worse than what's happened to you. Just worse. And I'm sorry that any bad thing has happened to anybody. But we have been taught to trade on those things, to hang a dollar sign on them and to use them for the rest of our life, for power, for social influence, for bullying, and for everything else. A lot of those memories could be based on truth, but in reality, there is an entire industry in America and around the world now that is in the business of manufacturing false memories. They're in the business of it. They are taking words and they are changing the definition of entire words so that something that was considered to be benign or harmless or just an irritation 20 or 30 years ago is now murder rate. That's what they've done. They've convinced people that they have been victimized their whole life, and even before their life, and their parents' life, and their ancestors' life, and they are owed something for all of that, and they're damn straight going to get it. You should refuse to become a victim, because that's what they want. That's what they trade on. But everyone, I don't want you to just dismiss this as, oh, that's them. That's also you. And by that, I mean you also have memories that are not true. You have memories that are not as bad as you think they are. And you have memories of things inside your head that were fantastic, that were beautiful, and that are wonderful, and that you pushed aside because you can't trade on. Those are the things we are to think on, according to the Apostle Paul. I think it was Paul. It may not be. I'm usually right 99.6% of the time, but I could be wrong. Somebody could look that up for me. Think ye on these things. And so that's what I wanted to tell y'all. If you have a question or a comment or something you want to talk about, come on and bring it in here. What I've tried to do today is to benefit you and to tell you that you yourself can go out of your front door. You can experience the gloaming, revel in it, take a picture in your mind and say, this is what it's all about. This is the beauty of the world as it was created. This is a snippet, a distilled moment of beauty from the hand of God himself, given unto you so that you can foresee taste and see that the Lord is good and that what he has planned for us is good. The world sucks. By that, I mean the people in it and all that garbage that happens in the society and all that. But the world, as far as what God created and his intention for it, is magnificent and wonderful and perfect. Think ye on these things. All right, I'm here for you. If you got questions or comments, we're at 37 minutes. And that we can talk about anything. I wanted to mention, because like I said, there are idiots out there who will take some of the things I said earlier in this talk, and they'll say, oh, he's beating up on Biden. Where's your MAGA hat? And they are too stupid, literally too stupid, meaning their IQ is way, 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 way too low for them to understand how stupid they are. So today, I wrote a long post on Facebook warning people about something that Trump said during the debate. Namely, that he's going to get the military, he's going to get 100 million doses of some vaccine that's barely been tested, and he's going to go out and vaccinate 100 million people. I have a huge problem with that. Will the same idiot or idiots who every time I say anything about Biden bombard my private message or get in my comment section and ask me where my MAGA hat is, are they going to say anything? No, because they're too stupid. They're too dumb. They can't hear anything unless it's something that if it disagrees with them, it's something blah, blah. Philippians 4:8. All right. Thank you, Nancy. Appreciate the creation. That's right. During the confirmation hearings that the term sexual preference was stated as offensive, and within minutes, the online Webster's Dictionary, I think it was a different dictionary, maybe Webster's too, but the first one that did it, I would think, was another dictionary. And they changed the definition. That's instantaneous memory changing. All of this is in 1984, and it's in a lot of dystopian books. They instantaneously changed the memory because they wanted to. And they have willing accomplices in the media, and they have willing accomplices at all these big tech corporations that will do it. I can't remember Merriam-Webster's. I guess it was Webster's. I was thinking of Merriam-Webster's. All right. So, yeah, that's what they do. But in your life, It's very easy, Daniel, for people to take what I'm saying any day that I do this show and go, oh, he's talking about the Democrats. He's talking about the Republicans. He's talking about this group. The help is for you. That today, tonight, after this show, whenever, step outside and enjoy the evening for a minute. Frame the memory of it. Thank the Lord for it. And you have those going all back to the whole history of your life. You have a catalog of those that can be brought up. It is tough to decolonize our minds, but we have to do it. I try to do subtle things like naming books after it. That's what I try to do. All right, I'm not seeing any questions come in. We'll give it another minute. Sip on my stout. I want to tell everybody to like the video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We're at 1,877. I probably will lose 3 or 4 subscribers because I said something about Biden planting memories in his YouTube videos. Because people are too stupid to hear a truth and not take it as political. But other than that, we're trying to get to over 2,000 subscribers because supposedly, according to the algorithm, it helps and they recommend the video. They recommend the video the most to the videos you like. You hit the like button, you subscribe, and you comment in the comment section. I always tell people, go to the video and comment, and 3 or 4 people do. If everybody did that on one video, let's say this video. Did I tell you what's happening? You guys know what's happening, right? They demonetize my video the second that it goes out. The second I put it out, they demonetize it, and they say, this has got a red flag, and we have to personally go through it. And they purposely take 2 to 3 days to go through the video. And then they approve it for monetization after 95% of the views this video will ever get have already happened. Nothing nothing I can do about it. So if you want to, you can donate to the video. You can donate to the show, the Bunker Nation show. Go to, let me hit this thing real quick. I got a banner just in case you can't click on it, but you can look at it. And you go michaelbunker.com/fundraiser. You can also go to facebook.com/offgrid. Find me on Facebook, like me on Facebook, follow me on Facebook, whatever. Send me a private message, and you can send money through private message that gets to me immediately. No waiting. All right, I hope you all saw that. So do we have any more questions? Let me look here. What do you think about the term being promised, dark winter? Yeah, that was nothing that was said during that debate was unplanned. This is how you can know how not just fake memories, but how manipulation and propaganda works. They practice for these debates. Especially Biden, I think, took off completely from campaigning for 5 or 6 days. And then, and while that's going on, there's a scandal. He knows everything to do with the scandal because even if it was all false, you still know what somebody's accusing you of. He brought up the scandal preemptively. And then he was like, I don't know, some company called Burisma. Was it Burisma or something to do with China? I don't know. You don't sit there for 5 days and train for a debate where you know that a scandal is brewing and that you're going to be accused of something and not know the name of the company you're accused of getting money from or your son in. Same thing with this term, dark winter. It was purposeful. It was planted. It was all designed to create in the mind a visual image. That's what happens. That's what they do. Never watch a debate or anything like that and think that anything's happening there that hasn't been workshopped. They workshopped all of it. You get people that go off the page and do things that are dumb, like, I don't know, say we're going to destroy the or erase the oil industry. When supposedly Texas is in play and you got Pennsylvania and all these New Mexico and Louisiana and all these other states that probably don't want the oil industry to go away. I personally do, but that's just me. I'm not dumb enough to say it during a debate. Anyways, like I said, I hope you guys liked the video. Don't unsubscribe because I say stuff about Trump too, and I said something today about Trump. Go to my Facebook. You morons. I love you, but gosh, you're so dumb sometimes. All right, Paul, Philippians 4, 6, and 7. I think we already got that, but yes, thank you. It was Paul. I was correct, so I'm still right 99.6% of the time. Intellect over emotions. All right. Do you mean that if I do a super chat that they hold it off? Yeah, they do. They not only take a cut, but it takes 6 days. That's not true. Super chats take whatever day you give it. I get it the following month on around the 20th. So if you give it at the beginning of the month, it's a month and a half before I get it. If you give it at the end of the month, it could be 20 days before I get it. So, but on Facebook, Instant Messenger, they not only don't take a fee, so 100% of it comes through, but it's also immediately available. All right, y'all. Appreciate you. God bless. I hope everybody will like the video and subscribe. You got to get 5 people to subscribe to make up for the idiots that just unsubscribe because they're not capable of hearing something for which they disagree. All right, y'all. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. I think we're going to watch some Cobra Kai or something tonight. But Lord willing, I'll do another show. If not tomorrow, maybe the next day. I'll see you when I see you.